All right, we are going to go ahead and talk about the microscope. So, as you might remember from the timeline, really our understanding of cells didn't begin until we got use of a microscope. So we will be using microscopes in science or in our life science class, and I wanted to give you a quick overview about the care of the parts and how to focus your microscope. So we know from our previous video that there are several different types of microscopes. Specifically, we are going to look at the light microscope because that's what we'll be using in science class. The light microscope is basically found in almost every single school, and it uses compound lenses. When they say compound lenses, they mean more than one lens kind of stacked on top of each other to magnify objects. So to find overall magnification, we're going to end up multiplying the magnification of each lens that is stacked on top of each other. These lenses bend to refract light, that means focus light, on the object beneath and make them appear closer. So the common magnifications for our compound light microscope are 40 times, 100 times, and 400 times, and we'll see how we get that in a second. So for some safety, when you are getting your light microscope out, you need to make sure to always carry it with both hands. One hand on the arm and one hand under the base will be wonderful for not dropping your microscope because these are very, very expensive. Also, don't force your knobs. If they are not turning correctly, ask me and I will help you. Don't ever try to force them to do something that they're not wanting to do. Also, when you finish, we will always store it covered. You'll just wrap your power cord back around the way it was when you got it out, and then put your dust cover over it, and then we'll put it back in the cabinet. All right, so microscope parts. So we'll start on this side. We have the eyepiece right here. The eyepiece has a lens in it. We have the body tube, the nose piece. See how it has 1, 2, 3 lenses, so you have 3 options for magnification. And those are the objective lenses. There they are. You'll have the stage clips. There'll be 2 clips here, and they allow you to put a specimen underneath to hold it still. You have the diaphragm. The diaphragm, we'll talk about actually what all these things mean in a second, but here's the diaphragm. Here's the light. We have the arm. This is what you carry it by. And the base, this is also what you carry it by. So one hand here and one hand here. This is the stage. This is where you put your specimen and also where your stage clips are. This is the coarse focus. This is going to move this stage up and down towards and away from your lens. And this is what you use to originally focus in the beginning. And then you have your fine focus, which is right here. The fine focus is what you use after you have it very much in focus with the coarse focus, and then you use this to kind of just sharpen the image. Okay, so what do each of these things do? So we have our eyepiece. This contains the ocular lens, or the lens that is right next to your eye. That's why it's called ocular. You have the nose piece. This is the piece that holds the scanning high and low power objective lenses and can be rotated to change magnification. So that's these right here. The nose piece is actually this circular thing that the objective lenses sit on. You have the stage clips. These hold the slider specimen in place. You have the diaphragm. This controls the amount of light on the specimen. So right here you'll be able to turn it, and if you turn it one way you'll get more light, and if you turn it the other way you'll get less light. And then there's the light source. This projects light upward through the diaphragm, the specimen, and the lens, which allows you to see basically the light shines up through the diaphragm. Here's where your specimen would be, and then through the lens that you're looking through so that you could then see it. It lights up your specimen so you can see it. Then we have the arm. This is used to support the microscope when being carried, so there's your arm. You have the stage used to support the slide or specimen being viewed. So right here, this big thing, right here is the stage. You'll see the stage clips are on it and the diaphragm's attached to the bottom of it. You have the objective lenses. These are magnification ranging from 10 times to 40 times. Oops, I just messed that one up. You have the coarse adjustment knobs. This moves the stage up and down while focusing. So the big knob is the coarse focus, and this is going to move this up and down really fast while you are focusing. And then you have your fine adjustment knob, which moves the stage very slightly in order to sharpen the image. So that's this little tiny one right here. And then finally you have the base, which supports the microscope. So you're going to use the arm and the base to carry when you carry your microscope. All right, magnification. So your microscope has 3 magnifications. You have your scanning level, your low level, and your high level. Each objective will have written the magnification. In addition to this is the ocular lens, so the eyepiece. And the eyepiece also has a magnification. The magnification of the eyepiece or ocular lens is 10 times. So you can see in this table right here, the ocular lens will always be 10 times. That doesn't change. It is just the lens that sits right next to your eye. And it is always going to magnify your specimen 10 times. Then at scanning, the scanning objective lens is only 4 times magnification. So the total magnification when you're using the scanning objective lens is 4 times 10, the ocular lens, which is going to be a 40 times magnification. On low power, the magnification of that objective lens is 10 times. The ocular lens magnification is still 10 because that doesn't change. 10 times 10 equals 100 times. So the total magnification when you're looking through the low power is going to be 100 times. And finally, the high powered. The high powered is 4 times stronger than the low power. It is 40 times magnification. The ocular lens is still 10 times, so 40 times 10 is 400 times. So the total magnification at scanning is 40 times, at low power is 100 times, and at high power is 400 times. Okay, so using your microscope. So first, just general guidelines. Make sure all your backpacks and materials are out of the aisles and off the tops of desks. This is why you have your cubbies in your class. Plug your microscope into the outlet at your lab station, and then make sure to store with the cord wrapped around the microscope and the scanning objective clicked into place. So remember the 3 objective lenses, one is scanning, one is low, and one is high. When you finish using your microscope, you should always turn it back to the scanning or the smallest one, and it should be stored that way. And then always remember to carry with the base and the arm, one in each hand, so that you're using 2 hands to carry your microscope. Okay, so focusing specimens. So once you have a specimen, you're going to go ahead and you're going to put it on your stage. Okay, odds are is that you will be able to see something if you're starting on the scanning objective, and you should always start on your scanning objective lens. So the smallest one. You'll put your specimen on, you'll start with the scanning objective, and you'll use both eyes to look through the ocular lens. You're going to use the coarse knob, that's the bigger knob, to focus, so it's going to move the stage up and down. And then you're going to use the fine adjustment knob once you've come into a little bit of focus in order to make it more clear. The object might still be pretty small at this magnification, but if you can't find it and focus it here, you're definitely not going to be able to at the low and the high. You must be able to find it and focus it on the scanning objective lens before you can move on to low and high. If you can't do that, you're not going to find it later. So for this beginning part, when you're just looking for your specimen, don't use your stage clips on your stage. That way you can move your slide around and try to get a better look at all of your options on the slide and place it in a place that's going to allow you to see the most. Okay, number 2. So once you've focused on scanning, so once you've found your specimen and now you've focused your scanning, you're going to switch to the low power. So you're going to use the coarse, so you're going to flip the objective lenses so that it's on low. You're going to use the coarse adjustment knob and refocus, okay, meaning you're going to be moving the stage up and down just a little bit, not very much, and then you're going to use the fine to make it nice and crystal clear. If you're not able to find it and focus it in low, you definitely cannot move to high, okay? You have to find and focus on scanning to move to low, then you have to find and focus on low to move to high. So once you've done that, you're going to switch to high power. Remember, if you have a thick slide or a slide without a cover, you don't want to use high power objective lens because it gets really close to the slide and it can damage your specimen or even move it so that you can't see it anymore. It can also contaminate the microscope, so you really don't want to do that. At this point, in order to focus on high, you are only going to use your fine adjustment knob. You are done with your coarse adjustment knob. On high power, you never ever use your coarse adjustment knob. So to recap, on the scanning objective lens, you can use both the coarse and the fine knob. On the low, you can use the coarse, but use it gently, and use the fine knob. And on high power, only use the fine knob. Now, when you are focusing your microscope, do not skip any steps, okay? This is really important. So once you've hit it and you are ready to move into your high power, you must have focused on scanning in low power. You must click the nose piece to the longest objective lens. And remember, do not use a coarse focusing knob, not the big one. Use the tiny one. It might crack your slide and release your specimen or contaminate your lens. Only use your fine focus knob to bring the slide into focus. Drawing specimens. So instead of taking data like we were taking in the scientific method unit, where you are taking measurements, here your data is going to be drawings. To draw your specimens, so what you're seeing through your microscope, you're going to use a pencil, making sure you can erase and shade areas. All drawings should include clear and proper labels, so figure out what you're looking at and label it. And drawings should be labeled with the specimen name, so what are you looking at? For example, here's amoeba, and the magnification you're looking at, so for example, 100 times. Labels should be written on the outside of the circle, so the circle is what you're seeing, and the labels will be written outside of that, so you're not squishing it up into there. You want to make sure to use as much of your viewing area as possible, and you want to make sure your viewing area actually reflects what you're seeing. So if it's dark everywhere else, you want to make sure to shade it, or if it's light in certain places, make sure it looks that way. Cleaning up. So you want to make sure to store your microscopes with the scanning objective lens in place. Remember, that's the smallest one. Once you're done looking at it, you're going to click it so that the smallest one is clicked into place. You're going to wrap the cords and cover the microscope, making sure that you have taken all slides or specimens off of your microscope. And then you're going to place the microscope in their designated location, back in the cabinet. Quick troubleshooting. So if your image is too dark, you're going to adjust the diaphragm and also make sure your light is on. So if you can't see anything because it's too dark, look at your diaphragm, play with it, try to let more light in, less light in. If that's not working, make sure your light is on. And if not, if neither of those are working, call me over. If there's a spot in the viewing field, even when you slide this and the spot stays in the same place, it means your lens is dirty. I have some lens paper and we can go ahead and clean that, so just let me know. If you can't see anything under high power, remember the steps and remember to try to focus again under low power. So switch back, try to refocus, and then try to switch back to high power. Again, continue to redo the steps over and over again until you can find that focus on high. If only half of your field is lit and it looks like there's a half moon in there, that means that your objective is probably not all the way in place. You should hear it click when it goes into place, okay? So make sure you are doing that. All right, so by now I'm hoping that you have taken good notes and that you have a nice diagram of what your microscope should look like and what all the functions are of everything, and you'll be ready to take a look at the microscope when we do. Thank you very much.